Welcome everybody to the Friday morning warm-up, number 116, and got all the usual ingredients today, so we'll move straight on, as you all know roughly what those ingredients are going to be. And we'll start off with a little clapping pattern. Now, the last few weeks we were looking at triplets, and you may or may not be pleased to know that we are not going to do that again for the foreseeable future. We're going to do something different. In fact, we're going back in time. We're going back to the 3-2 clave, probably the most important clapping pattern I've put on these sessions in terms of need to know and so on. So it's a 2-bar pattern. It's 3-2 clave. Clave means key in Spanish, and it's just like the key of the song, the rhythmic key. And it's only called 3-2 because in the first bar, that's the bar line in the middle there are 3 beats or 3 claps, and in the second bar on beats 2 and 3 there are 2, so it's a 3-2. If you reverse those two, you get the 2-3 clave, which is probably more common in salsa music, but 3-2 clave is quite common as well in a lot of music, including rock and blues as well. It's moved over to this continent. If you heard me singing Iko Iko on the radio a few weeks ago, if you listen to versions of Iko Iko by people like Dr. John and the Grateful Dead, which Steve Johnson told me about, you will discover that the rhythm section is played using this rhythm pattern. The guitarist will strum that pattern. Just realised I haven't got my guitar ready. He'll actually strum da 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 underneath the song Iko Iko Iko. So it's used by guitarists as a strumming pattern as well. Right, let's clap that. I don't need my guitar, I'm getting confused here. I'm just going to clap. Here we go. Let's get the metronome going. So just going to be a gentle walking pace this time. You can walk your feet as well if you like. Left, right, left, right. And then we'll clap that pattern for about a minute. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's 1, 2, and 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. Right, we've done that one quite a lot, so hopefully you're familiar with it. I'm just going to do it a bit more quickly, because obviously a lot of music is a lot quicker than that walking pace. So you don't need to walk to this one. We're just going to see if we can clap that to this higher tempo. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. One more time. Da, 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 da. Yes, Rolling Stones used that rhythm in their, was it Not Fade Away? I think it was Not Fade Away. And sometimes known as the Bo Diddley lick or Bo Diddley riff, because he used it on his tune, very modestly called Bo Diddley. So you'll see that rhythm in various places. Right, let's get to the instrument. So grab your instrument and I went to see Ravi Coltrane at the Barbican the other day. It was brilliant. He did a tribute to his dad, John Coltrane. It's a fantastic evening of music. And he was interviewed on the radio, and he said that sometimes John Coltrane, in his warm-ups, and if you know John Coltrane, an absolute virtuoso saxophone player who died in the 60s, during his warm-ups, sometimes he would pick up his instrument and just hold it for 2 hours, just fingering it and not blowing a single note. That would be part of his warm-up, just getting familiar with his instrument. So for the next 2 hours, no, we're not going to do that. Right, a minute of plucking the note Concert G, because we're on G minor today. So concert G, so that'll be F for the B flats, E for the E flats. Here we go. One, two, three, four. Okie dokie. And
David, for those who's interested, there's a terrific documentary on Sky Arts called Chasing Train, which is about John Coltrane and his life and books.
okay, all right. Thanks, Chris. Yeah, Chasing the Train, John Coltrane. I did say Ravi Coltrane, didn't I? Not Robbie Coltrane, the actor. Yes, Ravi Coltrane, his son. Yeah, John Coltrane. Okay, Chasing the Train on Sky Arts. Right, let's move on to the chromatic scale now. And so we're in concert G, as I said, so we're going to be going up to the octave, just the usual pattern. And I'll get the metronome banging away at a modest tempo to start with. Okay, here we go. So starting after 4, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Now down. Okay, let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, a little bit faster. So still going, starting on the G. G, G sharp, A. One of the conventions is to, when you're ascending, going up the scale, you talk in terms of sharps. So you go G, G sharp, A sharp, B, and so on. And when you're descending, you go into the flats. So you go G, G flat, F, E, E flat. So if you are thinking of the notes as you're playing, that might be something to think about, train yourself to do. Here we go. A bit faster though. 2, 3, 4. Right, we're going to do it 2 more times at higher speeds. Makes it harder to think of those sharps and flats, but nevertheless, here we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. And one more time, just because I know you can do it. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. The chromatic scale, there we go, done and dusted. Let's move on to the exercise sheet. So if you'd like to get that ready and in front of you, make sure you got the right key. So for concert instruments, that's G minor. B flat instruments, that will be A minor, because they're a B flat as opposed to a C instrument, so they've gone down a tone, so they have to read up a tone to compensate. It's a weird world. And E flat instruments are down a minor third at E minor pentatonic. Okay, so we're just going to look at the minor pentatonic scale, and now the reason for doing this particular one today, you might see a connection with last week when we did the B flat major pentatonic scale. Pentatonic, as I said, means 5 notes in the scale, pentatonic, as opposed to the traditional 7-note heptatonic scales. And G minor is the relative minor of B flat major. So the notes you played in last week's B flat major pentatonic scale are actually the same notes as you are now going to play in the G minor pentatonic scale, except that for the sake of the exercise we're going to start on G. So it sounds like a G scale, and you'll encounter a minor third in after the G. So the next note will be B flat, and that's a minor third above G, which is why it's a minor scale. So some people say this is a mode of B flat major pentatonic. Kind of is, because people often think of modes as being simply a scale that you start on a different starting note, different position in the scale, but have the same actual notes in it. So, okay, so just recapping that, in case that threw you off course. G minor pentatonic is the same notes as B flat major pentatonic last week, except we're starting it on the G, and it has a different feel, a different sound, because it's a minor scale, even though it's the same notes. That's the amazing thing about these things. So let's just play those first 2 bars, which is the major, G minor pentatonic, ascending and descending. Okay, let's get the tempo down a bit. Here we go, after 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, let's do that again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Just to just listen to the difference with major pentatonic. The same notes, but starting on B flat. Okay, that's just the same notes, but I just started on the B flat rather than, and that's got a brighter major sort of sound. Rather than G. Let's do one more time. G minor pentatonic, concert G. 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah. You may know or have spotted that it's very similar to the blues scale, and quite often people learn this first and then they insert one more note and they've got the blues scale for G. So just so that you know that. We're not going to be playing the G blues scale, but just so you know, between the 3rd and 4th notes, if you want to play those 2 notes, just go dun, dun. So that's concert CD. If you insert in the gap there the chromatic note concert C sharp, so it becomes a little run of concert C, C sharp, D. If you include that 6th note, you get a septatonic scale, if that's what it's called, the blues scale. So we play the same minor pentatonic, and just by inserting that one little chromatic note in the middle there, you've got the blues scale and a different sound again, a bluesier sound. But that's just a cultural thing, because we've heard that incorporated in the blues so often. So let's go on to the, right, we're back on the minor pentatonic now, so let's just do the bars 3 and 4. It's just the same thing but in reverse, so descending first. Bars 3 and 4, top line, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. 2, 3, 4. One more time. 2, 3, 4. Good. Okay, well that's our basic scale for the day. or for the next 15 minutes. And let's move on to the scale exercise number 1, next line, second line. And it's just going up and down that scale, but leaving out every other note. So it's just a way of going up in, mostly in fourths actually, but that's not particularly important. But so we're just going to treat it just as a playing exercise. Just read the lines. Just the 4 bars, just across the 4 bars. I'm going to just change the speed slightly. Here we go. So exercise number 1, 4 bars. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, and again. 2, 3, 4. Dun, 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 dun. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. And the reason that sounded, and music is all about how things sound. It's not really the theory side of it. It's what sound are you creating? What mood are you creating? There's a very open sound to that, and so on. And that's the sound of the fourth, the interval of a fourth. For a guitarist or a bass player, that's just going up a string, same fret, unless you're on the top strings, but on these lower strings. No, I've played that before. I think that's the Tokyo Olympics theme, 1966. It's a pentatonic melody, but it's all in fourths. Up a fourth, then up a load more fourths, and that's why it's got that particular sound. Okay, let's move on to scale exercise number 2. Same idea, coming down in fourths this time. So it's not important that you necessarily know. Well, it would be great if you did know what interval everything was on, but just treat it as an exercise for now, and then maybe think about it afterwards. So exercise number 2, third line after 4. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. It's alright, my mistake. Wrong fingers. Wrong notes, in fact. 2, 3, 4. And again. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 Okay, just a couple of exercises there to get your fingers around the minor pentatonic scale. There's lots of different patterns you can make up to play around the scales, and also once you find that not so challenging, the next thing to do, of course, is to stretch it over 2 octaves or whatever within the range of your instrument, and take it as far as you can. Or just try that same pattern but do it an octave higher, or at the dusty end of the guitar where your frets aren't quite so worn. And right, now I was looking for a tune which is written based around the minor pentatonic scale, and there are not anywhere near as many as there are in the major pentatonic scale, and not that I could find anyway. And even a little Google of songs written in minor pentatonic came up with a load of rock riffs by AC/DC and Led Zeppelin, but not many actual tunes. I mean, I'm not saying they're not tunes, so we're not going to get into that, but you know what I mean. Folky melodies and nursery rhymes and all those familiar things. Loads of them, as we saw last week, based around the major pentatonic, but not many around the minor. And in fact, even Summertime is not entirely minor pentatonic, as you'll discover. So anyway, I've written out the A version of Summertime here, the opening melody, the Gershwin tune from Porgy and Bess. And so we're just going to do it's that line and the next 2 bars on the next line as well, all the way up to the double bar. So in terms of bar numbers, 13 to 20. So we're going to play this little melody, and I've written out the melody just in a particular way. Every vocalist will sing it differently. Every instrumentalist will play the tune differently. So you don't need to write in telling me that should be a couple of quavers at the beginning, because it probably should be. Let me just see. Summertime. That'll do. We'll stick to that speed. A little bit slower. Okay, you'll see there is a minim rest at the beginning of that first bar. So I'm going to count in 1, 2, 3, 4. Then it's 1, 2 before you start playing. That 1, 2 is to cover that first minim rest. Dun, 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 dun. For anyone who doesn't know what tune I'm talking about, here we go. After 4, let's have a go. 1, 2, 1, 2. 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right, I don't know how successful your attempt at playing that was, but well done if you got even a couple of bars right. It's reading straight off the page is not an easy thing to do. I know it helps if you know the melody, but what you might have noticed me doing, and this is something that I think is important when you're sight reading, is when there is a long gap between 2 notes, for example, is to actually count the beats. And actually say to yourself 1, 2, 3, da da da, and so on, rather than just sort of guessing when you got to come back in. Or intuition's a great thing, but it's not an accurate thing, especially when you're playing with other people. So don't always rely on just thinking you'll get it. A bit of counting is quite important. Let's do that again. Righty-ho. And after this one, I want somebody to tell me which note is not in the pentatonic scale out of all those. But don't spend the next 5 minutes thinking about it. Here we go. After 4 and then 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2. 4, 1. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4. 1. 2, 3, 4. Yes, good. So that's all based around the minor pentatonic scale. Apart from one note, because as I said, I was finding it difficult to find a tune anyway. Anyone spot the note?
E in bar 16.
That was several answers at once then.
A.
Sorry?
A.
A. Which note in the tune? The last one?
Last one.
Yeah, that's right. Well done. Yeah. Yes, you may notice that. The last note is not in that scale, but so really it's actually not written based around the minor pentatonic at all. It's written around the minor scale, the full minor scale, because when he carries on with the rest of the song, I'm sure other notes come in. There you go. Anyway, that's just a little minor pentatonic-ish sounding tune. Now, move on. Oh, let's do that one more time. Sorry, I've only done it once, haven't we? Twice. Let's do that one more time. You'll get it spot on this time, I'm sure, with feeling. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2. 2, 3, 4, 1. 1, 2, 3. 2, 3, 4, 1. 2, 3, 4. Yes, good, good, good. What I didn't say, and I think you picked up on it, is that has got a swing rhythm to it. That means that the crotchets are not played straight, as in da 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 da. They're played da 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 da. Sometimes on a sheet of music it will say swing feel at the top. What I've shown is just above where it says extract from Summertime. Crotchets equal triplet quaver crotchet, which is essentially the same thing as saying swing. Yes. Da 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 dun dun dun. Sometimes they show dotted crotchets and quavers, which doesn't sound quite the same. But now onto a bit of disco from the 70s. Now you don't have to admit to it, but I bet some of you were in a disco when this record was played in the 1970s. I don't deny it. Play That Funky Music, White Boy by Wild Cherry. That was right. Anyway, there's an iconic sort of riff at the end of the tune, which is a minor pentatonic sort of riff. Go away and listen to it if you haven't heard it before. Anyway, we're going to play that pentatonic riff. Now, above where it says extract from, it's now saying crotchets equals quavers equals quavers. That means they're straight. It's a way of showing that they're now straight. So we're not swinging it. Okay, we're going to play it a little bit slower than the record. Dun, 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 dun. That sort of speed. 1, give it a go. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. Sure you'll recognise that even if you didn't know where it's from. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 play that monkey music. Sorry, my singing put me off. Let's do that again. 2, 3, 4. One more time. 1, 2, 3, 4. Da, 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 do, da, do, da, dee, da, dee, dee, do, da. Do it a bit quicker. One more quick version. Da, da, dee. I'm not sure what tempo would be actually. Let's try it. Da, do, do. A bit faster than that. About 102 at the moment. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. There we go. Probably was a bit quicker than that because disco music was for a long time sort of stuck at 120 beats per minute. Then it gradually got faster. One of the reasons for that is so that the DJs who are mixing records, having 2 turntables and fading one into the other, could actually merge them from one song to the next without the tempo changing violently. And it is also considered a good tempo for getting people up and dancing. But the tempo started to rise. Right, here's another one. Back to a swing feel. Yep, so we've got crotchet equals triplet crotchet quaver there. And this is an extract from Black Knight, which, of course, you all know is a tune by by Deep Purple. Nearly said Black Sabbath, sacrilege. Deep Purple.
But the riff was taken from a blues number, of course.
Oh, was it? Okay. Oh, we'll have to go and research that. You don't
possibly Otis Rush, I think. But
right. Yeah, it's a bit like a lot of the Led Zeppelin ones were pinched, weren't they, from early blues artists? Okay, so this is again based on the pentatonic scale, and it's just the opening riff from Black Knight by Deep Purple. Let's play it after 4, and it's swing feel. Dun, 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 dun. That one. Bit slow. Here we go. And 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. 3, 4. Good. Let's do that again. I'm saying good, but I hope it was good. 1, 2, 3, 4. 3, 4. One more time. 2, 4. 3, 4. And one more, just a little bit quicker. Yeah, 110 is probably nearer. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And again, one more time. It's a bit of a guitarist thing, that one, but nevertheless, it's a minor pentatonic riff. Good stuff. Okay, there's a little whirlwind tour of the minor pentatonic scale, and we will come back to that in a few weeks' time with in a different key as well as the major pentatonic. That will return, no doubt, in future weeks. Good, good, good. Let's move on to the final part of this morning's session, which is when I strum some chords. And okay, there's the chords in front of you for each of the keys. It's a 12 bar. I haven't really shown it with bar lines because it just gets a bit messy, but those 12 chords are 12 bars, and it's a 12 bar blues. It's a minor blues. There are lots of variations on the minor blues, but this is a minor blues. They kind of follow the same chords as the major blues, except they're mostly minor chords. And you can use the minor pentatonic scale or add that little blues note in if you want to as well, to improvise over this, or you can try those riffs, or if you want to just blow chord tones over those chords just to get familiar with the notes in there, or play arpeggios. You know that I've said that every week for the last 116 weeks. Here we go. So I'm just going to do it. I'm going to do it in a little bit of that sort of blues, that sort of rhythmic feel. So that'd be 1, 2, 3. After 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Next line. Third line. Bit of a bass line. And again. Actually, I should have given it that clave rhythm, shouldn't I, to tie it all together with the rhythm we started off with. Anyway, that's it. Good stuff, and hope you enjoyed that, and thanks for coming along. And
You, David.
Thank you very much.
right, thank you. That's good fun. Good.
That's brilliant.
Thank you very much, and we'll see you next week, hopefully.
See everybody.
Thanks.
Have a great weekend, Chris.
Bye,
Bye,
bye.
everyone.
Bye.
Take care. Have a good week.
Yeah. Give the
Thanks,
old
David.
Good night. Thanks.
the blankety blank wave.
Have a good weekend, everybody. Bye.
Yeah, and you
You
too.
too. You too.
Bye.
Thanks once more,
Okay.
David.
Right.
Thanks a lot.
See you then.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye bye. You're right, Dave.
Yeah.